The New Jersey Devils have fired head coach John Hines.
What a surprise.
This is after, I believe,
Listen,
a 7-2 loss to the Buffalo Sabres. They lost again last night, Alex.
7-2,
So,
7-1.
so Ali Nesteraiden will be their interim head coach. I just want to read you some stats about the New Jersey Devils. They are currently, after last night, they are 29th in goals for. They are 30th in goals against. Their power play is 28th. Their penalty kill is 24th. Taylor Hall is the interest of Taylor Hall. The trade talks have ramped up even more. Miles Wood is now on the trading block. Those two for sure from Ellie Freeman 31 Thoughts. There's rumors that PK Subban, we're not 100% sure yet, that is also on the block. He would assume Wayne Simmons would be there as well, maybe Nikita Gusev, but for sure, right now we know it's Hall and Miles Wood. This was happening for a while, right? We knew it was, we were just waiting for it to actually happen.
Yeah, I guess we were waiting for this to happen. It was interesting because it took this long. Because how long has it been? Like, they threw the assistant GM down there as assistant coach. And my guess is when something like that happens, it means someone's on the hot seat. Or they're trying to look at what's going on. And they didn't do anything. Then they brought in Louis Domingue. Louis Domingue hasn't done anything, didn't do anything. And then they fired the coach. Now, I don't know if it's necessary. Listen, I look at this team. Could it be the coach? Potentially. It could potentially be the coach because we've talked about it before. This team on paper is supposed to be good. At the beginning of the season, did we not say they would be fighting for a playoff spot?
I think we had questions about goaltending. That was the problem. And
We had, yeah.
can I read you this tweet quickly to put? And it's something we talked about with the Devils before. It's from Abby Mastrowko. 2 years ago, the Devils rode Corey Schneider, Keith Kincaid, and Taylor Hall to a playoff appearance. Hines was in the Jack Adams conversation, and Taylor Hall won the Hart Trophy. Now, the goalies are both in the AHL. Hall is likely on his way out of New Jersey, and Hines is fired. Now, we talked about that the worst thing that probably could have happened to the Devils was them making the playoffs a few years ago.
Yeah, it was. I still don't get what's wrong with this team though. Because on paper it's supposed to work. On the ice it's not working. And I don't know if it's necessarily the goalies that are still the problem. Because read me those stats again. What place are they for goals for?
Oh, hold on a minute. Sorry, I should learn to keep stuff open longer than. Hold on. Also, while I'm getting this up to make it a bit sound better here, I know that for sure the goaltending, if you looked at what happened last night, for sure it's fair to say that goaltending is a problem here.
Yes.
Without a doubt. But also, Alex, while I'm desperately trying to find these numbers again because I should have kept this open. I want you to look at PK Subban's stats for a bit and tell me how he's doing.
From what I've read, I'm just pulling up his stats now. It doesn't seem like he's doing too well. And that surprises me. Now, when the trade first happened, I thought that the New Jersey Devils potentially got just ripped off. Now, we talked about before, we knew why they did that deal. It was a matter of cap space so they can bring in Matt Duchene. But still, okay, I have them up. 5 points in 27 games.
By the way, he's 29th. The Devils are 29th in goals for. So yeah.
That's interesting because you think that with the team they have, they could potentially outscore their problems. They got Taylor Hall. They have Nikita Gusev, who we were told was supposed to be a good NHL player, and asked for $4.5 million before never touching North American ice. Kyle Palmieri, Hischier, Jack Hughes. Where did they go wrong?
Well, first of all, Taylor Hall only has 4 goals.
That's what I'm saying. They're not outscoring their problems.
He's not looking like Nikita Gusev. I haven't heard that much about that guy this year. And looking at him, he's got 5 goals, 12 points. I mean, hey, he's on pace for 41 points. That's a fine little player there. I think maybe we not overrated. Jack Hughes did not have a great start to this year. And they talked about how he stayed in the U.S. developmental program for his draft year instead of going somewhere else, and how he was the first player to do that. I think PK, the fact that of only one of his 2 goals is against a goalie, 5 points for PK. I mean, he had 31 last year. He's not the PK we all know and love anymore when it comes to on the ice. Their offense aren't going. Taylor Hall is playing like he's already on his way out. Taylor Hall is playing like he's already been traded, if we're honest, if you look at the way he's going. I don't know exactly what Kyle Palmieri has been doing this year. He's another guy who I haven't really heard about it. Palmieri already has 10 goals. That guy's going to score 30 again. So I don't know if it's just their depth or everything is going wrong with them. Everything. All their stats are at the bottom of the league. Maybe we overrated some of the players they got, Gusev, PK, and we didn't put enough emphasis on the goaltending as well, because you get away with a lot when you get a save, Alex.
But they haven't got a save? When was the last time they got a save?
The last time, the year they made the playoffs, when Keith Kincaid turned into the second coming of Patrick Waugh. And
right.
I should have said the other one, but he's overrated. But yeah, and before that, it was before Corey Schneider's injury problems. So, and
that's the problem. They didn't address their goaltending needs, and now they've dug themselves into a hole that they cannot get out of.
It's not. No, it's not like they're like the Sens of a few years ago with the Sharks. So they've traded their pick. They have the assets. They're going to get a lot for Taylor Hall, but maybe is it fair to say this is all worse because we thought that the Devils are going to be something special? We all overrated them, and this is really where they should have been all along?
But that's the thing. You look at the players they have. We probably overrated them. And the reason behind it is we look at the players they have on paper, and you look at players like Taylor Hall, Nico Hischier, Jack Hughes, Damon Severson, PK Subban, Sammy Vatanen, Will Butcher. Those players are supposed to be good. And right now, the team does not look good. It's a problem. And I don't know what their plan is. On my notes, I wrote, is it time to blow it all up? And the reason I ask this is because I have their cap friendly page up. They have a couple players on expiring contracts, a couple players with a couple years left who they could potentially get something for. Now we know Miles Wood is on the block. Obviously Taylor Hall. Could they go move a Wayne Simmons? Would they want to move a Kyle Palmieri? Would they consider moving? I don't know if PK. Do you think a team would take PK Subban for the next 3 years at $9 million?
Not at 9, no. The only reason the Devils took it, the Devils ended up getting him, was because they were the only team that could take the full cap hit. Okay, so do you think they would consider, Ray Shero would consider blowing it up? Because based on his comments, I don't know if you've read them, but apparently he said, we can't make a 5-foot pass. And he said, I don't think there's any one player that is performing even at the level, let alone above, that we'd expect or maybe they'd expect. And that's the thing that's disappointing. Maybe. Then I think it is time to blow it up then. What does blowing it up mean? What does blowing up mean? Can you pull up their cap friendly for me? I will do that right now.
Because there's a lot of young players on this team. They have Nico Hischier, who they just signed to an extension. They have someone like Jesper Bratt, Jack Hughes, obviously. Pavel Zacha's 22.
I have it up. What do you want to know?
What players on this team do you trade that would blow it up?
First of all, you may have heard of him, Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
I doubt you can trade Travis Zajac. Wayne Train Simmons.
Okay.
Kyle Palmieri has 2 years left, so I don't know if but he also has a eight team no trade list, but I'm sure you can get a lot for that guy. But he's one of the guys that have been good. Nikita Gusev, I mean, he's been fine. Maybe he does even better on another team. We talked about Miles Wood. He's got 3 years at 2.7. But again, he's 24. Pavel Zacha's 22. Blake Coleman's 28. The rest, I'm looking at it now, and I mean, like, the only guys that you can trade that's a quote-unquote blow-up, you don't trade Andy Green. What's his real value? Vatanen's got 4.8, a year left. So I think it's the guys we've talked about. It's PK, it's Taylor Hall, Wayne Simmons, and I think we throw in Sammy Vatanen.
Okay, so at this point, what could the Devils get for PK Subban? Because it's obvious that he was at a low point. They were trading him at a lower value when he got traded from Nashville. I would argue that it's even lower now.
Alex, we've forgotten about one thing, though. I think I know why the Devils have been really bad.
Tell me.
Connor Carrick has been on the IR.
Oh, God. I miss him.
I don't know what you get for PK anymore. I really don't. I mean, because this was supposed to be the year where Friedman kept saying PK's pissed off. He has fire up his ass. He's gonna do something. The year Price was hurt and PK was the only force Montreal had. He was still fantastic then, and that was a bad team, Alex. That was the year they got Mikhail Sergachev. That's how bad they were that year. So PK is used to being the only guy, and he's not doing it anymore. So I have no clue what you get for him anymore. If it was a second and 2 like C plus B minus prospects, I don't know what you get for him right now because no team is going to. What's the famous Elliot Friedman thing? They don't throw you life rafts. They throw you anchors when you're down there, and there's no team that is closer to the bottom and needs a life raft more maybe than the New Jersey Devils.
Even if they, you know what the thing is with this team is they're going to have to either draft or sign an actual goalie sometime soon because it's obvious that Domingue isn't working out or isn't what they expected. They still need a starting goalie. They need someone. The thing is, I think Mackenzie Blackwood, right? He's only 22. I think what New Jersey ends up doing is they're going to end up with some type of tandem like they have in Dallas and like they have in Boston. Whether Blackwood is the one who ends up playing more games or the one who plays less games, I think he's the guy that they stick with. But Corey Schneider, no. And they need to bring someone else in. Obviously not this year, because I think this year's it's over for them.
Put it in the bin.
I think at this point, and I don't think there's any change. There's going to be no St. Louis here. I don't think anyone's coming up anytime soon. That is going to be a huge game changer for this team.
Blackwood's weird to me because I remember he's 2015 draft. He's second round. And he was the highest rated goalie in that draft, I remember. And again, he's a goalie, so he's weird. So he could be trash today, Alex, but he could be a Vezina candidate in 2 weeks. They're goalies. They're weird.
No way he was. No way he was number one. Ilya Samsonov. Was Ilya Samsonov number one goalie in that draft?
I saw ones that at least that he was. It was Blackwood or it was him. But I remember most of the stuff I saw was all about Mackenzie Blackwood. But then again, remember, I was started being a hockey fan in 2014, so I don't know if I was going straight after Sam Cosentino and Jeff Merrick my first year as a fan. But I remember Mackenzie Blackwood. I remember being like, why is no one taking this? But that was before I didn't know that you didn't take goalies in the first round anymore. It was Spencer Knight or Andrei Vasilevsky.
Now, I think I have a question here, and I think I have the answer to it, and I think we're going to have the same answer to it.
Hall for all. Yes.
No. Were the Subban Gusev moves what the team needed?
See, I look at Gusev, and I don't think he's doing that terribly. PK was a bit of a mess. Gusev, I don't see a problem with. I mean, I really don't looking at his stats, but PK was definitely a mistake at this point.
Would it not be worse without PK, or you think it'd be just as bad?
Dude, you know I love PK Subban. He's one of the best people ever, but he has 5 points. PK is an offensive defenseman, dude.
Okay, do you think there's something? This is what I said about Barry too, right? But Barry was a different situation where he doesn't just turn to a good offensive defenseman doesn't just turn to mush over a summer. Now with PK, it's a little bit different because he was injured, coming off an injury. Do you think something's still lingering? Because a player just doesn't turn.
PK has had back issues for a couple seasons now.
So you think something's still lingering there? Because you don't just turn to mush over a summer.
See, there's a Andrew Berkshire. There's a really good Andrew Berkshire article, or I've heard it's good. I've never read it, and it talks about PK's decline. I want to read that, but what I get the sense of from guys like him and Mark Dumas is PK is probably a good fourth guy now.
Really?
And maybe he's just they're looking at I don't want to misquote these guys. So if the dear listeners want to go find this article, it's for Sportsnet. But maybe it's just now they're relying too heavily on the guy.
But that's because you know what the thing is, you say fourth guy, and he's making $9 million.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't look good.
They can take the salary though.
Right. They can take the salary. But what happened? He was a number 2, was he not? Would you not consider him a number 2?
PK?
Yes. At some point in his career.
Right.
Number 1. So how old is he now?
Oh, PK Subban, man, is 30 years old. Jesus.
So I think something is still lingering, because I don't think you just turn into mush or whatever PK Subban has turned into over a summer.
I don't know, man. He wasn't the same last year. Your back's a real, it's a real female dog to deal with.
Right.
Oh, do we want to move on from the Devils? Anything more to say about them?
Nope.